So can I please ask you to join the stage?
Jamie.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I want this to be a workshop for you this afternoon, but I want to give a bit of context first. So one of the things that Circle Networks is based on is our core value that friendship fuels business. None of us start off in business thinking, I need more friends. We start a business because we're good at something and we've got a drive and a passion and we want clients. This is the bit that's missing though. I explain to people that we, in networking, are in the world of business dating. You might not have thought about it before. But in our personal lives, we think we're single, I want to meet somebody. We go on dates. Me and Lou met through online dating. You start to build relationships with people, and you go on a few dates and it doesn't work out, and then you meet the right one, and then you start to get to know them, and you build that trust. Then you might introduce them to your friends, and then you introduce them to your family. Then you might move in together, and that's how you build your personal relationship. The same thing applies in business, but people don't think about it. It just happens naturally without any thought. But my role is to give people some structure to how to build relationships, to work out what it is that they want, and to get the results for other people, and by doing that, you'll get what you want. So that's friendship fuels business. If you start building good friendships with people in business, and you don't need many, they will help you get everything that you want. I'm not here to say that you only need networking. Networking is one part of your marketing strategy. You've got to use social media, you've got to use emails, WhatsApps, automations, all of those things. But networking doesn't cost you anything. And it can get you quick results. So it's not the only thing, but it's a key thing within that. I want to give you an example of Paul McGowan. Paul, just raise your hand. Has anybody met Paul here today? Paul, just stand up. Thank you, thank you. So Paul came to Circle Networks 2 years ago this month, so 2 years ago in January. And he sent me a WhatsApp last month and said, how long have I been in Circle Networks? And I'll be honest, I thought, oh God, he's leaving. That was the first thing that went through my head. Why would he leave? I know he's got a good story. And then the next message came back. It wasn't quite 2 years, 23 months, he'd made £92,000 worth of profit. From Circle Networks, from his networking, directly and indirectly, but as a result of being in this network, being surrounded by amazing people. Now, what's really interesting is he'd left another network and he hadn't got anything from that, and he was frustrated with networking. Despite how young he looks, he's been around a while, and he'd been running his business for 26 years. So he's done a lot of networking. He was ready to quit networking forever. And Circle Networks, I didn't realize, was going to be his last-ditch attempt. And somebody suggested that he joined. So he joined. He didn't get any business for 6 months. So how many people would give up on something if you didn't get a result for 6 months? And then, so that was in January he joined. July he got his first bit of business. August, he had his best month ever in 26 years in business. And it's just gone up and up and up since then. So he's made £92,000 worth of profit in 18 months, not in 2 years. And it's just going to continue to grow. One of the key things that he's done, he's sat the training course that you guys are all going to get an invitation to sit after this. It's a 6-week thing. I call it Sales and Networking Accelerator. And it's the structure to help you build relationships. Some people do it. Like some people attend courses, conferences, and never take action. Paul's an action taker, and he went away and implemented it. It's not rocket science. It's a formula to help you get what you want. And he went away and did that. The main thing that he did, he built a very good friendship with the guy who introduced him to Circle Networks, Jimmy. They became referral partners. They speak to each other every week, most days, and they are the top introducers for each other. They were in another network together beforehand, only ever had one-to-one and never passed each other any introductions. Circle Networks was the catalyst for change for that, because as you've experienced today, we're not about pitching. We're not about being really direct. We're about building relationships and helping each other, and that's what he's learned, and that's what he's experienced, and it's rubbing off right across his business. So that's a taste of what it can do for you, because I think ultimately we all want to know, well, what's he going to do for me? What can networking do for me? And that's what Paul is the example of. Gareth as well, he shared with me earlier, I said, last couple of years, how much do you think? So Gareth's completely changed his business in the last 18 months. So he came to our UK conference, September 2023. The next day, as you can imagine, I was shattered. I just got home. Me and Lou were walking to the supermarket, and Gareth texted me and said, right, I'm coming through your town, can we meet? And we had a 3-hour brainstorming in the pub. And he dragged us in with our shopping bags because we'd just come back from the supermarket. And he completely reinvented his business. He took time to step away from another business. How much do you think you've made over the last 2 years? It's about £50,000. So that's £250,000 dirhams, give or take. So, all of this is available to you guys, and I just want to share some stuff with you this afternoon and hopefully stimulate some conversations. What was interesting for me is the underlying theme through today. It's been about understanding the problem that you fix with people, speaking to more people, getting your message across, working out how to build relationships with people, breaking bread. The noise over lunch you would have all heard was deafening from the conversations that were going on. Compare that to most events that you go to where people, oh, it's the lunch break, and they disappear with their phones, and they don't really have conversations. We struggled to get everybody back from lunch today to start the afternoon session. So that tells me that we're doing something right. You've got to be in the right environment. So, one of the things that people say to me is, and you take any event, are my clients going to be there? You don't go networking to meet clients. If everybody went networking to find clients, that's where they get disappointed. I usually ask the question, have you come here, raise your hand if you've come here to promote your business today. Build relationships? Yeah? Anybody come here to buy anything? 2 people. Right. It's usually none. But everybody goes networking to sell, but nobody goes to buy. So when you're doing your pitch, no one's listening because they're waiting to do their pitch. Our way of networking, and I don't mean that in circle networks, our way of teaching people how to build a network is to build relationships. And if I meet Chris, so Chris and I met through WhatsApp, through the group that Vit set up, we met through WhatsApp, had a call, and he explained to me that he's looking for introduction to law firms. And actually, this ties in perfectly with what Gotham was talking about over lunch. A UK-based law firm is a dream introduction for Chris because he helps them with their business development. He wasn't in circle networks. I wasn't pitching anything to him. I thought, right, who do I know? Very specific. I thought, I know 3 people that are actually ex-lawyers that I can put them in touch with, and they had some good conversations. That's the start of the process. That's what we do. We open the door for people. Gotham said to me, so many people move to Dubai and find it hard to win business. Calvin shared with me, his first few months in Dubai, he found it overwhelming how hard it was that so many people were perceived as time wasters that would inquire, but then they had no money to buy anything from him. And what was it you said over lunch? Live locally, live in Dubai, earn globally. So just because you live here doesn't mean your clients have to be here. There's a whole world of opportunity. I think the world has changed. Someone might have alluded to me having a little bit of a man crush on Daniel Priestley earlier. Me and Gareth have talked about it a lot this week. Takwa mentioned it. One of the things that he talks about is the change that we've gone through over the last few years. Most of us grew up where we lived in a town, worked in a town. Our network was locally. We would network locally. We might have clients that were perhaps in the region or perhaps even in the country, but very few of us had international clients. Put your hands up if you've got international clients today. Okay, so that's more than half the room. So your business doesn't have to be local anymore, so don't be bound by that. There's an international audience here today. Vit told me we've got 20 different countries represented. So there's a huge opportunity for you to build relationships with people, to get introduction to your dream client. Your job is to explain who you want to meet. I get frustrated when people talk about, I'd like an introduction to anyone. So Chris could have said to me, sorry Chris, you're going to be my example today. Chris could have said to me, I want to speak to anyone who needs help with business development. We know too many people now. And Takwa mentioned, Daniel Priestley talked about Dunbar's numbers. So there's I think he's an anthropologist called Dunbar, who did some research about the numbers of people that we know. And our brain can only cope with 1,500 people. So I've read up about this week. It was only on Monday it came out in a podcast, wasn't it? So I've read up about it this week because I wanted the stats. So 1,500 people is the most that we can know and remember and associate with people. And when one goes in, one goes out. So that's the maximum capacity. Doesn't matter if you've got 10,000 or 100,000 connections on LinkedIn or in your phone, you can't remember them. So when you're going networking, you say, I'd like an introduction to anyone that needs help with business development, it's very hard for someone to think about who to introduce you to. Some of you might be old enough to remember life before social media. So pre-social media, we knew on average about 250 people. That was the stats. I used to train people on social media in the early days. Yeah, and you knew their numbers. You knew how you knew them. You knew what they did. And if they changed jobs or they got married or they got divorced, all those things, you knew it. We know too many people now and we don't know the stuff. So when we're asking for an introduction to anyone, it means no one. It's a waste. You may as well not even go networking if you're going asking for an introduction to anyone. And people say to me, so Ina might say, I'm looking for an introduction to men who might need some help. And I'm like, do you want anyone though? Because there are a lot of not nice people out there. We've all had not nice clients, haven't we? Do you want any more? But unless you're telling people that, they're going to pass you those introductions. What about the people with no money? Do you want introductions to those? They don't make very good clients. Or the ones that are never happy with what you do. So you've got to know what you want and know what you don't want. And then teach people that when you're having, we don't even call them one-to-ones in Circle Networks, we call them collaboration calls or collaboration coffees. When you're having a meeting with somebody, your job is to teach them what it is that you're looking for, the type of person more than anything, and then the problem that they might have. Elliot talked earlier about, we fix problems. So you've got to be able to explain the problem that someone's got. They don't necessarily know what the solution is. They don't know. I might meet somebody and they don't know that they need to start a business in Dubai. But that might be the best solution for them. Paul's come out here this week on a lot of trust in me, never having been here before, absolutely loves it. Now wants to come out on a regular basis. He said to me earlier this morning, I think I've sorted this. So my niece has said I can come and stay with her for free every time I come out. He's never been before, and what a change. When did you arrive, Paul? Wednesday morning. What a change in a few days. And I think Elliot's the same, Gareth's the same. Alexandra's already planned coming back and doing a speaking opportunity. People don't know what the solution is. You've got to work on the problem that they've got. So that's one thing. So at the start, I asked you to write out, who are your top 3 clients? What's the problem that you fix for them? What is it you love about them? What makes them your best client? And if you just start talking about that more, and it's super specific, and I always say to people, give an example of a client, because client stories help people go, oh, rather than, I know loads of people like that, to, I know one person that's like that I can introduce you to. So for me, bringing Elliot out, I only wanted to introduce him to Gotham, because I knew there was a synergy there. It turns out we've got another speaker coach in the business, in the room as well today. So there's a real opportunity, and I see synergies like that, and that's what I do. I help people connect. And you can do that too. So when you're speaking to people, if you find out what they're looking for, and you start, so hopefully during the day today, you've met some people, and have you had those light bulb moments where you go, oh, I should connect Gotham with Elliot. Has anybody had that thought today? Have you made any of those introductions? So that's what I want this afternoon. So I'm going to shut up in a minute because I want to give you some pockets of time to make some introductions. You're not necessarily going to make the introduction today. So over lunch, I was with Sarah. And she was saying to me that she's looking for a job. She wants to move here. The first thing that she needs is a job. So I said, oh, funnily enough, I'm sat next to a recruiter. Your hand up. Parag is a recruiter. Oh, we got another one. Okay. Then Marius is here. Marius is a software developer. I'm sure he's got a technical speciality. So if you're a recruiter, Marius would love to speak to you. Or if you know someone that recruits in software development. So it's very specific things like that. That's what I want you to do. So you've got a list of your top 3 clients. If you describe those on your tables for the next 5 minutes and just see if anybody has that light bulb moment, or they go, oh, not on here, but on that other table there. So you've got 5 minutes now. Let's make that 10 actually, because we're all quite chatty, aren't we? So until 10 past, I want you to have a conversation on your table based on your top 3 clients and see if any of you can help each other with some introductions. Thank you. Can we have a little bit of music, just quiet music?
Too slow every time. Now you're out of sight. Is it a sign? I lost my faith, but it's alright. 'Cause then I met somebody, and then you met somebody else. Thought I could be somebody, but now you're loving someone else. 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 'Cause then I met somebody, and then you met somebody else. Thought I could be somebody, but now you're loving someone else. 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 Now you're loving someone else.
Just to let you know, you've got 2 minutes left, everyone.
Promise that you wait for love. Promise that you wait for me. Promise that you wait for love. Promise that you wait for me. Promise that you wait for me. Promise that you wait for love. Promise that you wait for me.
Okay, sorry to interrupt everyone. Right, based on that then, has anybody got any introductions that they can make to somebody else? Yeah? Okay, I just want some examples. No. So, based on hearing someone's ideal client, can you make some introductions? Just give us a couple of examples.
Yeah, definitely. No, I've forgotten what it is now. I made a note. Oh, yes, Takra. She's her one client that she's got is very much handmade products, UAE-based, UAE-focused. I've got a friend of mine, her and her husband have been tasked with a massive project for another corporate where they're only looking for Emirati-based, handmade, homemade products. So that's like ideal. And then Eva's got 7,000 connections for the rest of the table. That's my friend, by the way.
This is the table to be on, everyone.
Oh, yeah, the winning table. It is.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a habit to get into. It's a habit to describe the ideal client that you're looking for. One of the things that I did Christmas before last, I read Atomic Habits. Has anyone read Atomic Habits? I'm in the right room. I recommend a few books. Atomic Habits. Breaking Bread is one of them. We've got another author over. Put your hand up if you're an author, actually. Okay, there's too many to shout out. We've got a lot of authors in the room, so experts who speak. So, Atomic Habits, I read that because I wanted to habitize passing referrals. So if you think about this morning when you got up, did you have to think, I must brush my teeth today? No, you just did it. Catherine was just wondering, did I brush my teeth this morning? I think so. That's it. It's just automatic, isn't it? You don't have to think. What about when you put your shoes on? Did you think about which foot you put in first? You just do it automatically, don't you? Right, here's one that'll mess with you slightly. Just fold your arms for me, please. Right, now fold them the opposite way. You really have to think about that, don't you? Yeah. And I think passing referrals is like that for some people. There are some things that we do automatically, go networking, but passing referrals is not automatic like that. So I set myself a challenge last year. I wanted to pass an introduction or a referral every day. Not rubbish ones, not because I have to, but because I wanted to, and I wanted to help as many people as I could. Some days I didn't do it. Some days I did 2 or 3, but I wanted to average 5 a week. And if you've read things like The One Thing, that was the one thing that I wanted to focus on at the start of last year. Pass more referrals. Went all the way through January, passed referrals to other people, nothing really happened to me. Into February, all the way through February, towards the end, nothing really happened until a Monday morning I got a phone call from 𝙁𝙧𝙚𝙚𝙚𝙚. Jamie, would you like to buy another networking business? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Now, Elliot had done an amazing deal for not a lot of money the year before, buy another business. I said, I want to do a deal just like you did last year. He said, okay, leave it with me. An hour later, he rang me back. He'd set up a meeting with the company, a call with the company. Another great guy called Jamie, so 2 Jamies speak to each other. Quick conversation, we agreed terms. That was on the Monday. Thursday, the 29th of February, I was hoping that someone was going to propose to me because it was a leap year. But I bought a business instead. So I bought a business, thanks to Elliot. Now, reciprocity is what kicks in. When you start helping other people, then someone, somewhere, will help you back. So if you can get in the habit of helping other people, finding out who their top clients are, storing it somewhere, having a process of doing this. I just remember stuff. So when someone says to me a certain thing, I'll lock that away, like Chris with the law firms. I remember, I used this example with Ray. The first conversation that she had, I said, oh, we're like-minded. She went, no, we're like-hearted. And that was months ago, wasn't it? But little things, so I remember stuff like that. So that's what I want you to do. Start remembering who wants to speak to who. What's the problem that they fix? And then work out from your best connections, who can you make that introduction to? Because generally, if you meet someone that's like you, that deals with similar clients to you, all your clients are their perfect clients. And all their clients are your perfect clients. So Paul, if I go back to Paul, Paul's a financial advisor. So it's all about Paul today. Paul's a financial advisor helping people with insurance policies and wills and protection. Does it for individuals, does it for businesses. Jimmy, who's his best referral partner now, is in private medical insurance. One of them, when they speak to their clients, so they don't have to do any extra work, just as they're going about their normal daily job, looking after their clients, speaking to their own prospects, they bring up the other person in conversation. It's no extra work to pass referrals if you make it a habit.
It all starts with, we've got 2 of these and 1 of those. We've all got 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we should use that in the proportion it's meant to be, and it's listening. You have to listen to what people say, not listen to their pitch, listen to who I'm looking to be introduced to, who's my ideal client, what do they look like, what do they feel like. And when you listen, that's when the magic happens. Yeah, baby.
So one of the things...
I just wanted to say that I love the approach of ideal client, because I've heard so many times, thank you, I've heard so many times, who are you looking for? And people say, well, I'm looking for this company, or to introduce me to this person. But describing it as my ideal client is such and such, and this is who I'm looking for, that's much better way of looking at it, and makes it much easier.
The challenge is, what's the name of your business? What's your business called? 𝙁𝙪𝙚𝙚𝙚𝙚. So let's say I just Googled 𝙁𝙪𝙚𝙚. I don't know anything about them. They might meet my ideal fit, but I don't know the people there. So we ask for introductions sometimes just based on a Google search, or someone says, oh, this is a big company, that'll be a great company for you. But if you describe it based on the type of people that you want to deal with, nice people, like-hearted people, but, oh, I know someone that I could introduce you to, then you're accelerating the relationship building process from the start. It's a different way of building your business. It's nice. I only deal with nice people. I do not have any people. Whenever my phone rings, I never go, oh. You know that feeling, though, when you've got that client that you don't want to speak? I don't have that anymore. I don't have those people. I just deal with nice people. In Circle Networks, we have no rules. So I've come from a network that used to have a lot of rules. A lot of rules. And I purposely started this one to have none. We have one unwritten rule. Gareth, what is it? No rule. Do you remember? No Paul knows. Go on, what's our rule? No.
Only nice people.
Yes, thank you. That's the only unwritten rule that we have. And it works. It should be fun. It should be nice to be around nice people. And when you're around people that you like, that deal with similar clients to you, it's a pleasure to help them. It's very similar to why do people give to charity? It's nice to be nice, but it makes us feel good as well, doesn't it? Yes, yes. When we pass referrals to other people, it makes us feel good. So all last year, I felt great.
For me, every time I pass on a referral to someone, it feels like you're watching America's Got Talent and someone got the golden button.
Yes.
I get so happy for that. This is the way I feel.
It is.
Someone gets it.
So let's say it's your birthday, and someone surprises you with a birthday gift that you weren't expecting. What do you feel like you've got to do when it's their birthday? Reciprocate and give them a present back. That's what happens when you get good at passing referrals. And I don't just mean, Gotham, you should speak to Ray. That's not a referral. A good referral, there's varying degrees of referrals. One is an email where I introduced Liam to Gotham by email and say, you two should have a one-to-one. That's not a referral. If I speak to Gotham and say, Gotham, I'm bringing this guy, Elliot, out to Dubai. He's really good. Here's why I think he's a good fit for you. Tell him a bit about him and the way that he works, similar values. Do the same with Elliot, and then facilitate that introduction. Then I know that the two of them are going to hit it off. And then that'll just happen after that. That's what you can do with your people. And if you get good at being that person that makes a difference for other people, they'll do it back for you. So one of the things, the reason that I know Elliot, has anybody read The Ultimate Sales Machine? Okay, so there's part of that book where he talks about writing out your Dream 100. So I encourage, so it's a list of 100 people that you would like to work with. You've got to be very specific on it. So Elliot was on my list. So I'd done some research, and he was on my list. And I shared, so it's not a list, it's not a wish list. It's not something that you write and then put in your drawer and you share it with people. So I was having a conversation with somebody, and I said, these are some of the people that are on my Dream 100 list. I know Elliot. So he sent a message, a lovely endorsement of me. He might have embellished a little bit to say how nice I was, and explained why we'd be a good fit for each other. And then we had a call, and we've become close collaborators and good friends. And then Elliot passed me an introduction to buy a business. Buying that business last year turned out to be a catalyst for huge growth for us. So last year we started, so Circle Networks is just over 4 years old. So it took 3 years to get to 120 members and 12 groups. Then last year we went from 120 members to 300 at the end, and from 12 groups to 45. And we've got real momentum now. It's frustrating how that, it always takes longer than you think. But we're about having nice people. So it's, yes, I want to have a huge global business of nice people, but it's about having intimate relationships like this around the world, where people see a real difference. So, if you were, and this is an exercise to go away and do, but write out your Dream 100. If you had 100 people that you could work with that somebody else could make an introduction for you. So it might be, and it might be someone that you already know. So I'm trying to think of an example. So let's say you've met Gareth today. Seems like a nice guy. And you might have had a conversation with him and you think, oh, I'd like to work with him. It would be, if you approach Gareth directly and say, I think we could collaborate. There's a little bit inside him, in his ancient brain that we all have, where we step back a little bit when someone approaches us, because it feels salesy. But if Cindy said to me, I've met Gareth and I think we could work really well together, and then I approach Gareth and say, do you know what, Gareth, I think you and Cindy would work really well together because this and this. It's like a restaurant recommendation. It's like going to a movie or a holiday. That's what a referral is. When we approach someone direct, it's sales. So even if you know the person, ask somebody else to make that introduction for you, and it will speed up the process for you, even though you can do it yourself. So Gareth has been, as well as preparing for this today, he's been running around all over the ship filming a video for the QE2 while he's here this week. I opened the door for him, that's all I did. I asked Gory, who's my contact here, who's the person in marketing that Gareth needs to speak to be able to film while he's out here this week. Then he set up a meeting, sweet talked them, charmed them, and now the general manager has done a testimonial video for him while he's been here this week. He's had access all areas. But they said other people have approached them and they've had a bad experience, haven't they? So that's the power of a referral rather than sales. You can't get referrals, it's a team sport, without somebody else. Somebody else has to be involved to pass you referrals. If you want more referrals, pass more referrals. There's nothing that I tell people that you don't know, but it's easy not to do. So go back to the Dream 100. Start making a list of people that you would like to work with or collaborate with. And it could be that there's some joint ventures. If you need any help with working out joint ventures, I'd recommend a chat with Calvin. He's the master of joint ventures. But there's a huge opportunity for you. You just need to know what you want and then share that with some people, with the right people. Okay. One of the other things, we've missed out an important step. Why are you doing what you do? So we forget, we start a business, ultimately we're looking for one of a few things: freedom, flexibility, and fun. That's usually what we want. It might be financial freedom, or it might be freedom to travel. We want flexibility. If you've got kids, like for me, I started my business because I wanted to be able to take the kids to school. I used to have to leave at 6 in the morning. I didn't get in till 7 at night. I missed out on the kids for too long. So what's the reason why you started? Reconnect with that. Share that with people. Everybody skips over that part. That's what humanizes us. And at our networking events, we get people to start, and if you've been to Circle Networks, we get people to start by telling us about you when you're not working. No one connects with job titles. If I start, most networking events go like this. Hi, I'm Jamie from Circle Networks. This week I'd like an introduction to speaker coaches. If anyone knows a speaker coach, please introduce me. Does that sound like any networking events you've been to? Everyone's heads just bob along. No one's listening. Yeah. No one's listening. Everyone's just waiting for their turn to do their pitch, and no one listens. We start by building relationships. So tell us about you when you're not working. What are your hobbies? I'm a dad. I've got a lovely partner. We've got 3 kids. We've got 2 dogs. I like gin, I like barbecues, and I like travel. And I'm a retired scuba diver. Usually from that, someone can find something that they've got in common with me. They can find something that they've got in common with me, or not. How many times have you been networking and met someone and they go, we should have a one-to-one, which takes up at least an hour, plus travel, if you're doing it face-to-face, to find out that you just don't like them? How many people have had a lot of one-off one-to-ones? Right? So we help people connect with the right ones. So we might meet at a networking event. Me and Gotham hit it off because we both like gin, and everyone goes, oh, I don't like him. And that's fine, because you don't need to have a one-to-one with me to realise that I'm not the right fit. So it's a way of filtering and fast-tracking. So we're not in a volume business. I only ever so my intention for this event was only to have 50 people here today. You can see that the room could have had more. And we had this conversation, we could sell that out. Let's just do 50. This is the foundation for me for really good conversations with the right kind of people. And someone said to me over lunch, there's some really good people was like, I know. But it is. No. But that's what I wanted. I wanted the right people here today. It wasn't about having hundreds of people here. Don't get me wrong. I keep forgetting which floor we're on. The one below? So the one below, there's a room here like this, which is a bit bigger and it's been refurbished. Not that this isn't nice, but it's a bit bigger and brighter. So I've booked that for next year. So that's the plan. It's twice the size. Because you've got to start somewhere and then move on from there. But I want you all to go away and go, I went to this amazing event. Not just that, but it led to these collaborations, these speaking opportunities. Someone said to me, you've got a podcast booking already with Rupert. So already things are starting to happen. And that's what I want. I want you to remember that this event was the one that you came to that led to these conversations. Then you got on a podcast and then someone booked you. Then you decided that you wanted to start your own podcast. All of these things. But I want it to be, this is the first time that we've done workbooks for our events. Thank you. So I am not a graphic designer, so I was a bit nervous that I'd knocked this together and at last minute, and that it was the first step of doing this for me. I want you to have this, that's why we're kind of encouraging you to take notes. This is the bit that's going to make you money. So when you write in the names, because you forget as soon as you leave, who was that guy that was speaking first? Elliot? You're like, we forget. Because it's a Saturday. I appreciate you've all given up your Saturdays. So it's a Saturday, you've given up your Saturday. You've all got personal lives, so you're all going to go away and do some stuff. Then it's Sunday, and then before you know it's Monday. Well, generally, we run events on weekdays. So it was a bit of a gamble doing it on a Saturday to who would come and give up their time. But I wanted this, so you've got it to refer back to as the foundation, if you like, of the relationships that you're starting to build. That's what I want for people. So go away and write out your Dream 100 list. You'll probably never get to 100 people. But it's a start. If you get 10 names on there and you share them with some people and they get you one introduction, the Dream 100 would be, like for me, you get an introduction to somebody who can have a massive impact on changing your business. One of those could make all the difference. That's what they're not your bread and butter clients. Now, you might have some really big names on there. Vit mentioned Simon Squibb. There are measurable steps to get to. So you might have varying degrees of people. But that's what I recommend that you do. Become very good at fixing people's problems is another thing. So when you're speaking to people today, just ask them, what's your big goal for this year? Or what are your big plans? What's going to stop you achieving that? And it might be that you can help them with an introduction that they don't know that they need. So sometimes just asking people about what their challenges are. I generally try and have one person who I'm asking for. And does anybody sell insurance? Paul? So Paul sells life insurance. So if I use that as an example. So if I'm speaking to people and I go, I like Paul. He deals with my kind of people. So whenever I speak to anybody, if I just ask them, do you have life insurance? It's not salesy, it's not pitchy, just as part of the conversation, probably at the end, you know, when everyone's relaxed and you're packing away your notebooks after you've finished your meeting with people in client work. Before I go, I don't suppose you have life insurance, do you? They're just going to say yes or no. It's easy to make that kind of introduction. Replace that with whoever your ideal referral partner is. It's easy to do. So could you make that a habit to find referrals for other people? Then you become that key person of influence. That's a good book to read if you haven't read that. You become that problem solver for people just by asking questions. Just by asking questions in the meetings that you're doing, there's no extra work, and then you start passing more referrals to other people, they will then help you. But only if you're clear on what you want. So they've got to understand. So I run a 6-week training, so I'm skipping through some of this stuff, but I want you to have some quick wins, because it might be there's some conversations in the room today where you can pass some referrals, you can pass some introductions, so you can we have a call? We did the raising hands about one-off one-to-ones. In some networking organisations, you're encouraged to have one-to-ones and you scored on it. I encourage people to have, if I missed you, I can't see your name card. Ever. So if we've met and there's a good fit, you've got 7,000 connections, I think we should chat. How many people would say that we should have a one-to-one? And then you have one one-to-one and nothing ever happens. Right? The first meeting is generally to find out if there's a rapport fit. Then you need to book another meeting before you finish. How many times do meetings end? Oh, we should do this again. And it never happens. Right? How many times do you have a one-to-one with somebody and take actions from that? So me and Chris had a call, and I said, these are the 3 people that I'm going to introduce you to. I'm going to go and do that. So take actions. But if you've met me today, you go, I can't stand him, and I say, we should have a one-to-one, don't accept. You don't have to have meetings with people if you don't think there's a good fit. We're all busy. We are all busy. And I think, Rupert, was that your point earlier? When you start getting really busy, how do you manage all this stuff? You can have one, rather than having individual one-to-ones, have team calls. So, and that's what we've been doing this week. Me, Gareth, and Elliot met with Rupert, with Rahaf. And Ray, Rahaf. Yeah, so Rahaf messaged me on the way and said, what time are you arriving? I said, we're going to be there in about 20 minutes. And she replied, we? Question mark. What's happening here? Because the 3 of us were over here, and I said, you 2 should come to this meeting. That's how you save some time, by having more than one person involved in the meeting. So when you start getting busy and you've got the right team. Yes. Oh God. Yeah. Only if it's good.
Only if it's good. So yes, I was sweating when I read the word we. What do you mean we? Because I tend to love connecting with people one-on-one, but my experience from meeting Elliot and Gareth, immediate connection. I immediately felt like I've known them for years, and I genuinely mean it, because it was an immediate realization that we align in values and the purpose and why we do the things we do. So I just have to give it to Jamie. Thank you. And you taught me how to, because I'm a referral as well. I give a lot of refers, but I don't have the same approach. So quality referrals for life. So thank you.
So that can save you a bit of time. The reason that I like to have meetings like that, where there's 3 or 4 of you, you can just sit back and listen sometimes. When you're just one-on-one, so if it's just me and Gotham, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm also thinking about what I'm going to say next. So he doesn't have my full attention. When it was the 4 of us, Gareth was introducing himself and Ray was listening, me and Elliot could just sit back and listen and absorb it, rather than having to think about what we're talking about. Now, if you imagine that I passed referrals and introduced Ray to Gareth and Ray to Elliot, and then if those 2 had never met, another one, then we've all got to go away and have 4 or 5 meetings. So it saves everybody a load of time when you set up group meetings and group conversations. So it's just a different way of networking. I'm not saying you need to change what you're doing, but you might want to tweak it. I want to give you an example of an experience that I had. I think there's 2 types of referrals in the world. There are reactive ones and proactive ones. So the reactive ones are where, I'm trying to think of someone that's got an example. So Gotham is now looking for, just before lunch, speaking opportunities. Because do you think he did a good job before lunch today? Yeah. Do you think that would add value to other events to help them get better results from their events? So Gotham's looking for that. Now, if I just went away and went, right, I like Gotham, I'm going to listen out for people that say that they want a speaker before lunch. I've got the best of intentions. I've written it down because I'm a good networker. So I've written down Gotham speaking before lunch. No one mentions it. So we've all experienced that. We go networking, we write something down, nobody asks us about it, so we never pass them a referral. And then occasionally someone might go, oh my God, I need a speaker. Someone's dropped out before lunch. Oh, I know someone that could do that, so I pass a referral. So those are reactive referrals, where someone hears the magic words that fit what we do. Proactive referrals are where we go out and find opportunities for people. So we identify the problem that someone's got, and then we go, I know the person that's got the solution for that. That's what I want you to become. A friend of mine he's got 2 restaurants, an Indian restaurant. It's my favourite Indian restaurant. It's 100 yards from where we live. It is the best. Sorry, I'm biased. Paul, have you eaten there? Gareth, you've eaten there, haven't you? It's very nice. He wanted another restaurant. For 2 years, I had my eye out looking for another restaurant. Then my son had worked at one in town as a Cuban restaurant and had told me how badly run it was. Then 6 months later, I heard that they were going to stop doing food and just turning it into a bar and drinks. So I brought the bar manager for breakfast in my friend's Indian restaurant and told my friend who owned it he needed to be there, facilitated a conversation. It ended up he bought the business for nothing, an existing business, because they just wanted rid of it. They own the building, they just wanted someone to pay the rent. So he got this business that's doing about £10,000 a week, so 50,000 dirhams a week for nothing. He just took the problem off their hand. They were happy because they just wanted it. They didn't want to let anybody, wind the business up, sack people or anything like that. So you can become a problem fixer. I fixed somebody else's problem and handed someone an amazing gift. That's what you can do. But you've just got to look with different eyes. So there's a huge opportunity to do things like that. Now, if I go back to Dunbar's numbers, you can't do that for 1,500 people. You just don't know them. You can maybe do it for 5. So in Dunbar's numbers, they say 1,500 people, you might recognize their name or their face. You don't know them. You don't know anything about them. You connected with them once. You met them at one networking event. 500 people become your acquaintances who you have weak ties with. Now, you still probably can't recall them when I say, who are your acquaintances? 150 people are the ones that you've got stable relationships with. 50 people are your friends, your trusted contacts. 15 of them are good friends that you have regular interaction with, and 5 of them are close friends. You need the same in your networking. Paul's got 1 referral partner that transformed his business. What if he had 2? So you're not looking for big numbers, you're just looking for quality. And when you find someone, so this is the challenge, find someone that deals with the same ideal client as you, and then you just bring them up in conversation when you're dealing with your people, and they do the same. It's such an easy concept for people. So I invited Paolo here today because he's involved in property. Who else is involved in property today? I don't just mean today, but who else is involved in property? Oh, today I'm doing property. I like to find people that have got something in common, that mutual connection, and then facilitate conversation. And I think there's a good fit for my kind of people. You're all my kind of people. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. I might not know you all directly yet, but you've come from an invitation from somebody else. So there's that trusted connection, there's that similar vein running through it all. That's what I want you to do. It's not about big numbers, it's about finding the right people. Mark and Sandra are speaking next. We only met in October. Like quite a lot of people here, Gotham talked about, you've got to be in the room, in the country, in the town to get to know people. Me and Mark had been exchanging messages on LinkedIn, and then he came to an event, and then we had a follow-up call, and then we've engaged with each other on social media. Then we had another call, and now they're speaking at this event. It doesn't happen overnight. I think I'll just end with this. Most people go networking for today. I need a new client. I'm going to go networking. Oh my God, do I need a new client? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be you? And people just look around the room. It's going to be you. And you feel like you pray at a networking event. And there's hunters and farmers. We've got to be farmers. So if you go networking with a long-term strategy about building relationships with the right people and help them first, there's a lot of networks won't pass introductions, won't help people unless you're a member. I just want to help people. If you can help people, they'll say good things and they'll want to help you back. So the last book recommendation for me is The Go-Giver.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So it's a simple philosophy. It's about being a giver, helping other people. It's very similar to Key Person of Influence. You help the right people, you have the right attitude, and they will help you back. And that is the foundation of Friendship Fuels Business. Thank you very much.
the look of relief on your face. Would any... He's already got his hand up. He's already got his hand up. There you go, sir.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you, Jamie. Thank you for having us all today. Thank you for inviting me along. There's one thing I want to ask and also one thing I just want to offer everybody. The offer first is some people said they don't know what an ideal client profile is. I have a free quiz that I've prepared actually that I can send to you. So I'll either put it in the group afterwards.
Drop it in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, and just let me know because I just need to give everybody access to it. But yeah, it takes like less than 10 minutes. It's a little bit aimed at professionals, but I'll just check it and then everyone can use that. So that hopefully will help you. I was just interested in your analogy at the beginning about how relationships or business relationships start with like dating, and then you go on another date, and then you move in together, and you get married. Suppose that's
apparently.
I think yeah. And then hope you don't get divorced, I guess.
Been there, done that.
Right. Okay. So yeah, how do you prevent divorce? I guess.
Keep digging.
I think if most people go networking and meet somebody and they're dazzled by they've got 7,000 connections and that's all they see. But your 7,000 connections might be people that are the single men that are looking to go dating. I know somebody else that they would be a better fit for. I want to deal with business people that want to grow their business. So you've got to understand what you're looking for, but you've got to have similar values as well. I think if you've got the right values, so we're kindred spirits, aren't we? So we'd never met before until last October in person. Vic was the first to launch Circle Networks in Dubai for me. We'd only ever done that on Zoom. I think when you get good at understanding your kind of people, it prevents the bad relationships afterwards. Elliot?
I think adding to that, to your question, I think you have to look at the intention of the connection. And so when I connect, I have no agenda. So when I connected Jamie to Jamie, I didn't want anything in return. I just knew that was the right move. Then Jamie rang me, goes, I owe you loads of beers. I was like, you don't owe me anything, right? And I think if you can, and either come from that place or be very clear, look, I'm connecting you. If business comes of it, I want a percentage. I think the breakdown happens when people aren't clear with their intention. And that's when you end up in divorce, right? So that would be my 2 pence on that.
Thank you. Great. Paul, I believe you want to say something.
I would. Thanks for embarrassing me today, as you normally do.
You knew it was coming.
I know. I'd like to start with thanking Jamie because my business was okay. I had a good standard of living, but it was average. And was I happy in my business? Probably not. The one thing I'd say, or there's 2 or 3 things I've written down there, is what I've learned from networking, and everything Jamie's said is true, is my philosophy is going to give. I'm going to say the words, and I don't really care. I was in B&I for a long time, and it's just... It's an anagram of bin, if you didn't know that. I went to go and get business from people. I didn't go to give. It's a subtle difference, and it makes the world of difference. And the pleasure it gets to pass introductions and referrals to people, I wouldn't be bothered if I didn't get any referrals. The fact I can give to people and change their life is massive. I've done Jamie's accelerator training 3 times. So you're all going to get options to do that, and I absolutely implore you to do it because it will make a difference, a big difference. The only other things I would say is don't procrastinate, take action from what you've learned today, because that's where the magic happens.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know we're probably keen to go. Go on then, Christian, because you've got that lovely jacket on. Look at that tash. Take a photo of that tash later on. Look at that. Go on. I'm going to hold you while you say it, though.
Can I? Okay. Well, thanks. I think I want to say a big thank you, not to Jamie, but somebody else is present in this room, and it's Alexandra. And because this is very connected with what says behind you guys, friendship fuels business. And this is a perfect example to show that how connecting with the right people brings you to the right room and not just accelerates your business, but accelerates your relationship with other people. And I met great people in this room already, which I know for a fact that is going to lead to the next level, personally and professionally. So I want to say a big thank you to all of you, but especially to you, Jamie, because you're connecting everyone here.
Thank you very much.